revered monks and the devotees present here. Tomorrow will be initiation, and afterwards we shall leave. I am very much impressed the loving care as so active loving care I have never witnessed anywhere. Especially both the wings, mothers as well as the fathers. Both the wings are so sincere, so active, and so loving and caring. That has impressed me very, very much. I seek the blessings of Guru Maharaj, Holy Mother and Swamiji for all of you. Because you are sincerely carrying their message. You are doing the duty which they are to do. You are following their ideas, their thoughts, their activities, their wishes, everything you are following. Following in a very, very adverse situation. First, your family problems are there, and social problems are there, political problems are there, so many other problems are there. In spite of that, you are holding it. This is undoubtedly a challenge as well as grace. It is a challenge, and simultaneously you are feeling and enjoying your power. That its soul is potentially divine. That power you are realizing at every step. Otherwise, you could not have done this way. Here, we are following Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother and Swamiji. Why? While Suhitanandaji or your forefathers came, at that time they came with their own original, the ancestral gods and goddesses. Somebody worshipped Ram, somebody worshipped Shiva, somebody Krishna, somebody Ganesh, somebody Durga, somebody Kali, all sorts of gods and goddesses they had in their mind, in their intellect, in their heart. After coming here, we find another platform, because Nishyananda also, he belonged to the same family, so he could have established any of such gods and goddesses. But instead of that, why did he select Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother and Swamiji? This is sincerely very much surprising at that time, because he could feel that there should be some common platform, some god and goddesses who would be catering to the needs of each and every one. So he found that Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda and Holy Mother, they will be appealing to each and every one. I do not know whether he had made any calculation or it was some divine providence, because certainly he had not that maturity or age to calculate all these things. Certainly it is some divine dispensation, because as Chandrakanta Maharaj has nicely expressed that thing, that some above touch is there. That is, everything has been shaped, and we all come into that ambit. It is some sort of spiritual guardian, some guardian angel is governing everything, and we have become some you may say active or passive or silent instruments in that hand. This is the thing. Then why Sri Ramakrishna specially? It comes in mind. One scientist, he said, probably he got Nobel laureate, probably. He said that as a scientist, I cannot accept God because I am to go through logic, and logically we cannot establish God. So far this science, we have been trained, according to that science, we cannot establish the presence of God. We know nature. We know that nature is functioning. We know beings are there. Innumerable beings are there in this world. So these two factors we shall have to accept. And then the question comes, who is controlling that? Who is controlling? Who has created all these things? So as a scientist, we should have to admit that some superphysicist is there. Who has got that capacity to create such a creation, such beings? And along with it, I am to admit the presence of God because Sri Ramakrishna is there. This Sri Ramakrishna, so simple, so innocent, and such an innocent person, childlike innocent person, can never make any wrong statement, cannot never, because his lifestyle, his pattern of talk, all these things say that he never tells or can take any false. So when that personality says that there is God, I can share, I can communicate, then I am to admit whether scientifically I can come to the point or not. But I am to admit that certainly God is there. This Swami Ramakrishna, this approach was once made Einstein curious. Einstein, he had his friendship with Boshishen. Boshishen, he had his initiation from Raja Maharaj. He was a scientist. He's at Almora. He started Vivekananda Agricultural University. Swaminathan, that famous agricultural scientist, that he was his disciple of Boshishen. That Boshishen, because he was scientist, naturally he had some sort of communication with Einstein also. Einstein came to know something of Sri Ramakrishna and his visions and realizations of the things. So he became a bit curious about Sri Ramakrishna's all these visions and realizations. He one day asked Boshishen, "You are a scientist, I am a scientist. How will you scan the realizations of Sri Ramakrishna?" Then Boshishen said, "I think he did not undergo through any of our logic or methods. He had his own method of understanding a thing. Somebody said that their God says is in this shalagram. There is God. Just like pure scientist, he also accepted it. He went on scanning, thinking, and until he was satisfied, he could not stop. That was his method. That means to go on deeply thinking over the issue till I can find a solution on it. In this process, he had his realizations, one after another. The moment Boshishen said, Einstein immediately jumped and said, "This is the same methodology I also follow. Some problem comes to me, I go on scanning, I go on thinking, I go on working, and probably I on one problem I work for 3 years, 4 years, something like that. All on a sudden, some flashes come, and afterwards I put it into the formula. So first my conception is cleared in my intuition. Afterwards I put into logic." Sri Ramakrishna also did the same technology, same methodology. So Sri Ramakrishna was a scientist. His whole approach was scientific, we find that in his Narendranath also becomes stumble. Girish Chandra Ghosh, he also stumbles in presence of Sri Ramakrishna. They cannot argue with him. He is putting something so simple, direct method that they cannot argue. Because we generally go through our method of understanding, method of reasoning. In every page of the Gospel, we find 1-2 words are there, the Kamini and Kanchan. Every page, the woman and gold, woman and gold. I tell one incident. Sarvagatananda Swami, he was in charge of Boston. We got this narration from him. He was in Boston, so one professor, philosophy professor, came to the ashrama. So they had some talk, and by the process, Sarvagatananda presented him a book, The Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Because that professor, philosophy professor, naturally he became curious. After going through the book, the same man came back after 1 month with the book in his hand. He said, I do not want to read this book. At every page, you give up woman and gold, Kamini Kanchan, Kamini Kanchan. If I give up woman and gold, for what purpose? This book is full of trash. I don't want to read this book. How many copies do you have? 30 copies. I want to take all the copies and study. He said 30 copies. Then he said, I want to take all the copies, I want to burn them. So much anguishment he had. The same man, after a few months, again he came and he said, how many copies you are having? Said, there's 30 copies. I want to purchase all the copies. So why? No, because I attended one seminar. In that seminar, our chairman, he was saying, we Americans, we are after only 2 things. One is the dollar king and the sex queen. Dollar king and sex queen. I was startled. That Indian mystic also talked in the same language. So I like to purchase this book so that I can present my friends. Then you should go through it. So Sri Ramakrishna's approach, of course Swamiji, he has instructed not to use this queen, this woman and gold. Swamiji has advised that you should translate it in this lust and greed. It should not be woman and gold, it should be lust and greed. So this methodology Sri Ramakrishna applied, and as a result, it has this world's perspective. One Swamiji, we have heard that what Swamiji, one place he mentioned, never make man greater, never make God greater than man. Never make God greater than man. What is that? Apparently we all know God is all powerful, but man is not. But that cannot be. The moment I make someone as God, higher than man, in that case what will happen? He will become senior, superior, so there will be conflict will start. So what is that? What is God? God is the sum total of individual souls. If God is the sum total of individual souls, then no person can become higher than other. So it is the sum total. That is the concept of Sri Ramakrishna. This is Advaita concept is this, and in this way we can serve each person as God. The moment I make someone greater, immediately someone becoming lesser. That cannot be. Sum total, the total unit is the same. So when the total unity is same, so this is the concept of man as God. Another, he is also scientist, Abdul Kalam. Probably you have heard his name. He became the president of India, as well as he was the great scientist in our ISRO chairman. He once made, because he in his last days, last years, he came in touch with the Ramakrishna monks. Because we used to invite him and he would attend. One day, after talking with one Swami, he said, very beautiful comment he said, I find now, after talking with you and of knowing about Sri Ramakrishna, that religion has got two aspects. One is the graduation, another is the post-graduation. What is the graduation? Graduation means you will have to pass through any institution. You will have your graduation. When you have your graduation, you are free to do your research work. That is the post-graduation. Sri Ramakrishna also followed the same technology. He had his realization through Hindu Dharma. Through Hindu Dharma, he had the realization of Goddess Kali. Then he had the vision of Ram, he had the vision of Durga, and all other gods and goddesses. He did not stop there itself. Just like research worker, he went on searching. Sri Ramakrishna said, Mother, I want to see how the Christians worship you. He's appealing, just like a small boy appealing to the mother. Sri Ramakrishna is appealing to Goddess Kali, Mother, I want to see how the Christians worship you. So the arrangement was done. He visited and he had the vision of Christ. Again, there came, I want to see how to test the Allah. So that he practiced and had. Through Abdul Kalam is saying that this is the research wing. That means every person, he will have to pass through some church. Swamiji mentioned, it is good to be born in the church, but it is bad to die in the church. We shall have to transcend that. I shall have to transcend that state, and we shall have to come to such universal approach. This is the purpose of realization. This is the purpose of leading spiritual life. This is the purpose of leading a religious life. We are following the Hindu methodology, but we shall transcend everything. In the Ramakrishna mission, we find that you are also doing, whenever the Christmas Eve comes, we think as if Jesus Christ is the only God. At that time, our whole focus is on Jesus. At that, Sri Ramakrishna becomes not so prominent. When Goddess Kali will be worshipped, our whole focus, your whole team will only see that Goddess Kali is worshipped nicely, properly. At that time, Sri Ramakrishna, someone routine work, it is there. He is not so prominent. At that time, Goddess Kali. Durga Puja, same thing. Janmashtami, same thing. Ram Navami, same thing. Everywhere we accept them as the God and goddesses. So this universal aspect, this is the most important thing that we have imbibed through Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother and Swamiji. Swamiji's this concept, this Swamiji's this concept that the Shiva Jnana Jiva Shiva, it is a new dimension to the spiritual world. We generally think that I am to worshipper of Shiva, so only the chanting, reciting, worshipping, this is worship. But no, not that. As I have mentioned, that never make God higher than man. So I shall have to serve, I shall have to extend my worship towards the service of man. If I cannot do that thing, then it will be incomplete. Sri Ramakrishna himself demonstrated that he refused to go to Varanasi. He refused to go to Varanasi. Why? He said, you first asked Mathur, the poor people of Deoghar. Just you think, they have arranged all this arrangement of 100 persons are going, 3 reserved compartments to visit Varanasi. And for all arrangements, Sri Ramakrishna also was along with them. He found that in Deoghar, in Bihar, Jharkhand, there were some poor people. They are suffering. They are not food. There are no shelter, no clothing. To soothe their suffering, his heart melted. He said, Mathur, that you will have to serve them. Mathur Babu felt a little diffident because so much of expense and he has his own budget and he will have to spend so much money at Varanasi. So naturally he was hesitant. But Sri Ramakrishna refused that I don't want to go to your Varanasi until you serve them. And Mathur had to eat, he had to bring clothing, food, materials, everything from Calcutta and serve them. Then Sri Ramakrishna, being satisfied, proceeded. So this aspect of the spiritual life we shall have to take. Romarala, in one place, he has given one beautiful expression about these Ramakrishna mission activities. He has given that what they are the creative minorities. The followers of Sri Ramakrishna, they are the creative minorities. They are minority. You won't find them in large number, 10,000 people gathering or something like that, or doing stupendous work, something like that. There is very small amount of people start very humble beginning, but they are highly creative. Wherever they will go, you will slowly, you will find their presence. Slowly it will. And it will percolate into society in a very humble way. So, you people are none that these creative minorities, naturally, I just pray from Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother and Swamiji to give you the strength and energy and feeling so that you can serve the society, you can serve your own people, your family. Thank you.